Hi everyone. I know it's been a while. Big hockey family we are. We've had a lot of hockey in the past couple of days. Excuse me. So I'm a little behind on my book reviews. I've been reading, about to finish one tonight, but I'm very behind on my reviews. So let me go to the last one I read, which is a Fredrik Backman novel. It's actually the third in the trilogy. So Beartown, number one, Us Against You is number two, and The Winners, which he released in September, 700 pages. So I knew I could not handle starting a new school year and reading 700 pages that were just going to decimate me in my feelings. So I waited until a vacation to get that done. So if you don't know anything, let me give you a quick recap of the Beartown trilogy without giving too much away. The first one, Beartown, starts out in Sweden. If you don't know anything about junior hockey or hockey in countries like Sweden, educate yourself first, or just read and let Backman educate you, because you won't be disappointed. Very political. Hockey is a very political sport. So that's what you need to know. We have Peter Anderson, good Swedish name, by the way, went to the NHL, comes back, hometown hero as the general manager of the Beartown Hockey Club. And of course, with any good sports novel, we got to have an enemy town and its head, which is, the next town over. Excuse me. So in Beartown, we have Peter's daughter, unfortunately sexually assaulted by his star player. And Beartown is all about the politics and do you play this kid because it's a he said, she said. People are, people who know the truth are being silent. It's what's better, what's good for Peter's daughter or for the hockey club, because the town's self-esteem is wrapped up in the hockey club. So that's book one. Beartown. Then you have Us Against You, which was the second book, and it talked about the fallout of what happened when the truth was revealed. I know when I read the end of Beartown 1, I felt that I needed the story to go on, because he does kind of wrap it up and he addresses it in this book as well. And I remember reading what he talked about, the victim seeing her assaulter in a parking lot. And I thought, oh, that's a cool story. I really would like him to tell us about that. How do they get from here until many years later there? And this is what he did. So the Us Against You is about, the fallout. And I had a friend who I don't consider to be an intellectual reader, and I don't mean that to be insulting, but Backman is something you need to take your time with. You're not going to sit and read his novel in one day, because he writes so beautifully, so descriptively. So this friend ran through the trilogy before me. And I said to him, please don't tell me, I didn't read the third one just yet. And he said, I love this guy, but man, does it take him forever to get through something. But then you read it and it's just, I've read a masterpiece. So that's what I love about this author is, yes, it takes him a while to describe something, but once you've read it, you just feel all the feels. Us Against You had a moment where I had to put the book down and sob, because he does a lot of foreshadowing. He's also the master of the understatement, and we have this couple that you're rooting for, and he says in a previous chapter, oh, they would have had such a great life together. And you just know, crap, something's going to happen, and then when we get to where it's happening, and then he changes it so quickly that you're just like, what did I just read? And that I had to put the book down and sob in Us Against You, because I just wasn't ready for it, and it was horrible, and it was very much like real life, and we all know that real life is not fair. So it was just one of those moments. So that was another reason why I waited for this, because I just knew, even when I started reading it, I texted my friends who read it. I don't think I'll ever be ready for this, but they said you will be. The reviews you see online, they say the last 30 pages are brutal. I don't agree with that. I think the last 30 pages are needed. I didn't find them to be brutal at all. I did find pages 494 to 495 absolutely heartbreaking. Another moment where I had to put down the book and go sob. And if you read pages 494 to 495 and don't sob, we cannot be friends. Deal breaker. Not going to happen. So we have this moment on page 494 that kind of turns everything, because he starts it out with a storm. These are forest towns. They're up north in northern Sweden, and which is gorgeous, I hear. I've never been, on my bucket list. And a storm has gone through and just decimated. So it's kind of like, in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, you help another human out. You don't say, oh, you're from head, I can't help you out. No, you help each other out. But unfortunately, because of one of the pivotal characters' tales, the storm destroys Head's ice rink, because money was put into Beartown through the county, for lack of a better term, for an American term, their rink, and modernizing that because they were the winners rather than Head. So now they're trying to make the kids from Head go to Beartown and their fights and everything. And it culminates on pages 494 to 495. There is a death of a character later on, but Backman warns us. I mean, he's not playing. We know what's going to happen, and we're kind of prepared. It is sad because you just wanted more for that character. But I wouldn't call it brutal, because it had to happen. The nonsense between the two towns had to happen. And this was the character who had to stop the nonsense. We still have, we have the loose ends tied up with the bear skin. There are a couple of deaths in here. So Ramona's bar. We have Timu and his people. I found Timu's treatment of Ramona. I don't want to spoil that. I thought that was hysterical. And that's when I knew if I'm laughing in the beginning, I'm going to be crying at the end. And we have the hooligans. We have a new character, Lev. So it's just this perfect ending to this Beartown trilogy. So again, if you don't know a lot about hockey, start with Beartown, number one. And then if he's hooked you, because remember, when he wrote Beartown, I was hooked and I read his others, but they weren't about hockey. So I had to wait until Us Against You came out. And then the winners, in a little irony there, ties it up nicely. When you read the end, you're like, okay, I'm done with this story. The story has nowhere else to go. So again, I highly recommend Beartown. As an AP Lit teacher, I think Fredrik Backman is a top-notch author, and I wish more teachers would consider it to be of literary merit, is the title. I just find his style to be complex, the imagery just top-notch. I just can't say enough good things about this trilogy. Yes, have a box of tissues, but the Beartown trilogy is a must for someone who just wants to be taken on an emotional roller coaster ride. Okay, so if you like it, let me know, share or subscribe, and have a great day.